Dear students, in this lecture, we are going to discuss about Faraday's law. I have already mentioned about the importance of Faraday's law in our earlier introductory lectures. Here, we will start with induction principles and then arrive at the integral and differential forms of Faraday's law. Okay, let us start with induction. The EMF associated with the induction process can be explained using a region of magnetic field as shown in this figure. A magnetic field represented into the page. Here it is into the page because the symbol is like this, a circle, inside the circle a cross sign, that is for magnetic field into the page. On the other hand, if we have a circle with a dot, then the magnetic field towards us, that is from the page. Okay, here we are considering a magnetic field region, and a conductor is assumed to be placed in the magnetic field region in the form of a closed circuit with a resistance R attached to the conductor. And this conductor and this circuit is free to move in the magnetic field considered. Now, suppose we move this circuit away from the magnetic field as shown here. We are pulling it outside with the velocity v. Then we can see that an EMF induces in the circuit, in the closed circuit, and we can see a current I flowing through the circuit. So this is the basic principle of induction, and the induced EMF is represented usually by the writing letter E or simply letter E. Now, this induction process is also possible, or this type of induced EMF is also possible with some other cases also. That is, two more cases are shown here. And the second case, what we are doing is we are moving the magnetic field away from the circuit, moving it backwards. But in this case, the circuit is stationary. Whereas in the first case, the circuit is moving with the velocity, and in the second case, the circuit is kept constant or kept stationary, and the magnetic field is withdrawn from the circuit region. And in this case also, we will get an EMF associated with the closed circuit, and we get a current, induced current flowing through the circuit. On the third circuit, what we are doing is we are simply changing the magnetic field associated with this closed circuit. The magnetic field associated with, that is B, is changing with respect to time. Both the magnetic field region and the circuit are kept stationary, and the intensity of the magnetic field is changing. In this case also, the same effect is observed. That is, the current I is observed. In this case also, that is induced EMF is here. So these three basic demonstration experiments were performed by Faraday in order to explain the basic principles of induced EMF and Faraday's law. We can see that even though there are three methods, the first method, the induced EMF produced by the first method is not similar to that produced by the second and third method. There is a slight difference between these two cases that we will consider in the coming slides. So, in the first case, we can see that the conductor is, or the circuit is, moving through the magnetic field, and it is a simple case of motional EMF. So we are familiar with motional EMF. That is, when a conductor is moving in a magnetic field, an EMF induces on the conductor, or along with attached to the circuit, an EMF induces and a current flows through the circuit. And it is given by, and the EMF induced in this case, or EMF or electromotive force EMF induced in this case is given by the flux rule, the basic famous flux rule, as E is equal to minus d phi by dt, where phi is the magnetic field associated with the circuit In this case, a region of the magnetic field, this much region is there associated with the circuit, and as we are taking this circuit out, the region is decreasing. So d phi by dt gives the change in magnetic field with respect to time. So in this case, what actually happens is the circuit is moving. The circuit moving, in that case, the magnetic Lorentz force is coming into picture. That means we can consider free charges present. The free charges present on the conductor is moving. So what happens when a charge moves in a magnetic field? Then immediately the Lorentz force comes into picture. We can see that the Lorentz force equation given by F is equal to Q into E plus Q V cross B, where QE stands for the electric force component and QV cross B for the magnetic force component, if it is moving in both electric and magnetic field situation. But in this case, there is only magnetic field. So the force acting on a moving charge in a magnetic field is given by a magnetic Lorentz force due to magnetic F is equal to Q V cross B. So such a force is coming into action when the conductor is moving, pulling out the electron or the charges on the conductor experiences a Lorentz force. Accordingly, an EMF generates on the conductor or associated circuit, and it can be obtained using Fleming's right hand rule. In that case, what we are doing is we are stretching the forefinger, middle finger and thumb. Forefinger, middle finger, and thumb of right hand in mutually perpendicular directions, and the thumb points the direction of movement of the circuit with velocity v, and B is in the direction of the forefinger, and then the induced current will be as represented by the middle finger. So we are stretching it like this. Then the thumb gives the direction of velocity, and this forefinger in the direction of the magnetic field. Then this will be the direction of the induced current. So the direction of the induced current due to motional EMF is given by Fleming's right hand rule. Now, the induced EMF and the induced current associated with circuit can also be derived right now. For that, let us assume we are slightly moving the circuit in the forward direction like this. So this is the new position. Initially, this was the position, and now it is moved forward, so that there is the displacement. The displacement is dx, or it is displaced dx, so that the flux associated with the flux linkage associated with that movement area is given by say L into dx. The area is equal to L into dx, this much area. So the electromotive force or induced EMF is given by minus d phi by dt, and phi is equal to B into area. B into area is equal to B into L dx in this case. So E is equal to B L dx by dt. We are not considering the direction. So E is equal to B L dx by dt, and dx by dt, we know that dx by dt is the velocity. So dx by dt is the velocity. So we can say that the induced EMF is BLV. The induced EMF is given by E is equal to BLV. That is, a conductor of length L is moving perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field with the velocity v. Then the induced EMF is given by BLV. And the induced current associated with is given by E by the resistance, associated resistance in the circuit. If R is the resistance, then I is given by E by R. It is equal to BLV divided by R. So right now we were discussing about the motional EMF. That is, the circuit is moving. Circuit is moving in the magnetic field. Now consider the second and third case. In the second case, the magnetic field is moving, keeping the circuit stationary. And in the third case, what happens is we are changing the magnetic field. In both cases, as I have mentioned, the magnetic field and the circuit are stationary. but there is a change. D by dt is taking place with respect to the magnetic field. Now in this case, since the charges on the conductor are stationary, no magnetic force acting. So in this case, we can see that there is no movement of charges. If there is no movement of charges in the magnetic field, there is no magnetic force acting. The first case, there is Lorentz force coming into picture, but in this case, there is no Lorentz force. So we can say that it is due to electric nature. So for the first case, the origin is magnetic, whereas here the EMF is based on electric. So the induced EMF is an electric field, is due to an electric field, and Faraday concluded that a changing magnetic field induces an electric field. So that was a conclusion. A changing magnetic field induces an electric field. And in this case also, the induced EMF is given by the same principle, same flux rule, that is induced EMF E is equal to minus d phi by dt. There is no change for that equation, so it is sometimes represented as the universal flux rule. Universal flux rule, E is equal to minus d phi by dt. But one difference is here. Right now, it is due to the presence of an electric field. Electric field by virtue of or produced due to a changing magnetic field. So the electromotive force may be related to the equation like this. E is equal to closed line integral E dot dl. That is a line integral associated with the closed circuit. There is an electrostatic or electromagnetic field. E is coming into picture. Closed line integral E dot dl in this case is equal to the electromotive force. So there is a clear difference between the first example and the second and third example. The first case, it is a motional EMF due to Lorentz force coming into picture, and the second and third case, it is a change in magnetic field and the circuit is stationary. There is no movement of charge carriers. So the force acting on stationary charges, the magnetic force acting on stationary charges is zero. So the force acting on stationary charges is only of electrical nature. So it is we are assuming that there is an electric field is coming into picture, and the conclusion is a changing magnetic field generates a changing or an electric field E, given by the electromotive force equation. E is equal to closed line integral E dot dl. Now let us explain the integral form of Faraday's law, starting from the universal flux relation, that is E is equal to minus d phi by dt, and then the statement of this equation may be like this, or the Faraday's law may be given like this. Whenever the magnetic flux associated through a loop changes, an EMF equal to minus d phi by dt will appear in the loop. So this is a statement related to Faraday's law. Whenever the magnetic flux associated with a loop changes, an EMF induces in the loop, and that EMF is given by line integral E dot dl is equal to minus d phi by dt. The second term, E dot dl, is the electric field. That is, E is related to the EMF due to change in magnetic field. And let us consider a magnetic field B here, and any area here, this is an area making an angle theta with the direction of the magnetic field B. And suppose ds represents a small area, ds is a small area making an angle theta that is perpendicular to the area, ds is perpendicular to the area. Now we can see that the component of magnetic field in the direction of ds, is equal to b dot ds, or b cos theta ds. B cos theta, the component of b is b cos theta into ds, or b cos theta ds. And the flux is equal to the total flux associated with that area is equal to surface integral b cos theta ds. The normal component of magnetic flux is equal to surface integral b cos theta ds, or it is equal to b dot ds. And let us substitute that in this equation, that is closed line integral E dot dl is equal to minus d by dt of a surface integral v dot ds, or it is equal to line integral E dot dl is equal to minus surface integral dou b by dou t dot ds. And this is called the integral form of Faraday's law. So here we are representing it in partial form because there is a possibility of both a change of position and time. So it is represented generally in the partial derivative form. Okay, so line integral E dot dl is equal to minus surface integral dou b by dou t dot ds is the integral form of Faraday's law. Now, the minus sign associated with the Faraday's law, or the flux relation E is equal to minus d phi by dt is given by the famous Lenz's law called the Lenz's law. And the Lenz's law gives the direction of the induced EMF. Direction of the induced EMF is given by Lenz's law, and the direction of the induced EMF is in such a way that it opposes the change in magnetic field that causes the EMF. The change in magnetic field that causes the EMF. Okay, so when the magnetic field is, suppose a magnetic field is increasing, the magnetic field associated with the circuit is increasing. So that increase is resisted by the circuit by producing a magnetic field in the opposite direction. In order to produce a magnetic field in the opposite direction, a current needed to flow through the circuit accordingly. So if the magnetic field is increasing, then the current is in such a way that it produces a magnetic field in opposite direction. On the other hand, if the magnetic field is decreasing, then the current supports the magnetic field. So the current flowing through the, or induced current flowing through the circuit promotes the, or increases the magnetic field. That means it opposes a change, whether it is in the positive side or increasing side or decreasing side. So that is given by a Lenz's law. And this can be explained using a demonstration model. For example, for that, let us consider a magnetized cylinder. With a magnetic field density B, B, and the radius of the cylinder is taken as A. And suppose a conducting ring placed near, ring is placed near, and the magnetized cylinder is moving towards the cylinder with velocity v, So we can see that the magnetic flux associated with the ring is increasing. If there is sufficient distance between the magnetized cylinder and the conducting ring, the flux associated with the conducting ring is minimum or even zero. And as it moves towards the conducting ring, we can see that the flux associated with the ring is increasing. And depending upon the speed, the d by dt of the flux linkage changes, and that produces an EMF in the circuit. And that can be graphically represented like this. That is, the flux associated with the conducting ring is given by, or the magnetic field associated with the circuit, magnetic field associated with the magnetized cylinder may be given by phi is equal to B into pi a square. Pi a square is the area of cross section. B is the flux density. So phi equals B into, phi equals B into pi a square. That is the maximum magnetic field, and the magnetic field variation with respect to time as it moves towards the ring may be graphically represented like this. Initially we can see that the flux linkage is very small, and corresponding to a point around the edge region, the flux becomes maximum, and then again it remains constant, and when it leaves the circle as the cylinder passes through the circle, the circle or the circular conductor, the radius is slightly greater than the magnetized cylinder, so that the cylinder easily passes through the conducting cylinder. So corresponding to this region we can see that the cylinder is moving through or is traveling out through the conducting cylinder. So after that, again we can see that the magnetic field is associated with the ring is decreasing. So at the initial point, at the entry point, what happens is the magnetic field is increasing. The magnetic field is increasing means the circuit produces a magnetic field opposite to that of the incoming magnetic field. So the EMF is in the opposite direction. According to Lenz's law, the change it is in such a direction to oppose the change in magnetic fields. So at the entry point, the magnetic field or the EMF induced EMF related magnetic field is in opposite direction. So EMF may be represented corresponding to this region like this. That is, EMF is negative here. This is negative side, negative. And after reaching the maximum value around such a point, so this corresponding to a point somewhere here, you can see that the magnetic field remains constant. Maximum value, constant region. So suddenly there is d phi by dt tends to 0. So corresponding to this region, d phi by dt tends to 0. Here it is d phi by dt, d phi by dt is positive, and here d phi by dt is negative. So here almost constant means d phi by dt 0. So the flux or the EMF induced is equal to 0. Then as the cylinder leaves the circle, corresponding to the portion, the magnetic field is reducing. Then the circuit produces an EMF magnetic field in the same direction. For that, the EMF will be opposite. So this will be the region. So we can see that the Lenz's law, the negative sign given to the Faraday's law, minus d phi by dt. The minus produces EMF corresponding to increasing and decreasing regions in opposite directions. Now another example called jumping ring experiment may be added to this particular Lenz's law demonstration like this. So here the induced EMF is given by minus d phi by dt. And in order to explain the jumping ring experiment, let us consider a solenoid wound over as a soft iron cylinder. And suppose a ring is placed, a conducting ring is placed in here like this. And when we switch on the current through the, circuit, switch on the current through the solenoid, this becomes a magnet. It becomes a magnet and produces a magnetic field in this direction. Okay, so according to right hand rule, we can show that grip rule. We can see that there's a magnetic field produced that will be in the vertical direction. And during that process, we can see that the conducting ring produces a magnetic field in the opposite direction, or an EMF, in order to produce a magnetic field in the opposite direction. So the magnetic field produced due to the solenoid or given to the solenoid and the magnetic field produced by the conducting ring are in opposite direction. So this ring escape from this region, suddenly escapes depending upon the number of turns of the solenoid or strength of the magnetic field. It escapes from the region, and that is called jumping ring experiment. So by making use of this also, we are able to demonstrate the Lenz's law. Now let us consider the example of a charged ring. This also demonstrates the Lenz's law quite well. And for that, let us consider a charged ring like this with a charge density lambda, that is charge per unit length attached to this circular ring. And let this charged ring be suspended freely from a region, free to rotate like this. and a magnetic field is given. A magnetic field is given at the central region. So it is suspended with the non-conducting spokes, and from the center it is suspended, and there is a region of magnetic field shown by the shaded region. And suppose we suddenly switch off the magnetic field. What happens? Suddenly switch off the magnetic field, which causes a rotation of the rings in this direction. That is, in this direction, a rotation of the rings takes place when we suddenly switch off the magnetic field. How it is happening? So suddenly decreasing means the magnetic field is decreasing. So the ring tends to regain the situation by producing a current. We can see that the direction of the current needed is like this, like shown by this arrow mark. So the charges on the conductor begins to flow in that direction. This is a charged cylinder, and as the EMF generated, or in order to regain the change in magnetic field, the charges on the conductor tries to move in the counterclockwise direction, and the associated force produces a rotational effect on the ring, and we can see that the ring rotates about its hanging point. And the flux associated with this, for this particular example, may be taken as phi is equal to surface integral B dot ds, or it is equal to pi a square b, where a is the radius of the magnetic field region. So pi a square is the area in the magnetic field. So line integral E dot dl. So line integral E dot dl is equal to minus d phi by dt changes to pi a square d by dt of pi a square b, or pi a square into dB by dt. We are substituting the value of surface integral P dot ds here. That is phi is equal to surface integral B dot ds, and pi a square b is substituted, and we'll get the expression for the line integral as minus pi a square dB by dt. So this example also gives a demonstration of the Lenz's law. Now, let us consider Faraday's law in the form of associated with the electric field in the case of Faraday's law. So for that, let us consider a magnetic field B changing with respect to time. This magnetic field, the shaded region, and it is changing with respect to time. And the question is, what will be the induced electric field at a distance s? So corresponding to a point here, point distant s from the center, we want to identify the electric field present. So let us start with the equation E is equal to line integral E dot dl minus d phi by dt, and let us consider a circle passing through the distance at a distance s from the center. And for that closed path, we can say that line integral E dot dl is equal to E into 2 pi s. The electric field over this path is taken as E. That is a symmetric point, so we can say that E is constant all over the closed path, closed line. So E is taken outside. E into surface integral dl is equal to 2 pi s, and phi is equal to surface integral b dot ds. So the right hand side, d phi by dt changes to minus d phi by dt is equal to minus d by dt of surface integral b dot ds is equal to minus d by dt of pi s square b. Pi s square b is the area. Area in this case is equal to pi s square into the magnetic field is density is b. So phi is equal to b into a, b into area. Area is equal to pi s square into phi. So this is the expression for b. So expanding, that is the left hand side is given by E into 2 pi s, and the right hand side is given by minus this one minus pi s square dB by dt. Or the equation for the electric field is given by E is equal to minus s by 2 dB by dt along the azimuth plane, that is S by 2 dB by dt. So this is the expression for electric field. So these are simple examples to find out the effect of the induced EMF on different types of circuits. By making use of these principles, we are able to solve different simple problems to find the EMF associated with the different types of magnetic flux changing situations, or the electric field associated with a changing magnetic field. Now we are able to, or we can have or derive the differential form of Faraday's law. And starting with the integral form, that is, integral form is line integral E dot dl is equal to minus surface integral dou b by dou t dot ds. And in order to get the integral differential form or point form, we are making use of the Stokes theorem. That is, Stokes theorem is for converting. That is, Stokes theorem is for converting a line integral into a surface integral. Surface integral. Suppose we have a line integral like this, then we are able to or line integral some quantity electric field. Here we are interested in electric field over this closed line is related to some quantity enclosed by this surface, by this line. So surface integral of del cross E dot ds. So for converting a line integral into a surface integral, we are making the Stokes theorem. Now in the Faraday's integral equation, for the first part, that is line integral E dot dl, we will use the Stokes theorem, and that part changes to surface integral del cross E dot ds is equal to minus dou b by dou t dot ds. Now we are able to remove the surface integral terms from both sides, so that this equation changes to del cross E is equal to minus dou b by dou t, and it is called the differential form. It is called the differential form or point form of Faraday's law. And for a static case, there is d by dt tends to 0. No d by dt term is coming. So we can cancel the right hand side term or equate the right hand side term to 0, so that del cross E becomes 0. So that is for the static field situations. So in this situation, we have derived both differential form and integral form of Faraday's law, along with some basic principle or demonstration examples for the Lenz's law associated with the Faraday's law of induction. And clearly we observed that the induced EMF may be due to a motional EMF or due to a change in magnetic field. And the conclusion may be like this: a changing magnetic field produces an electric field. And the Faraday's law, in the case of Faraday's law, modifies the static field equation del cross E equals 0 to del cross E is equal to minus dou b by dou t. That is, curl of E is not 0 in the case of electromagnetic situation. That is, closed electric loop lines are there. Just like magnetic loop lines in electrostatics, there is no closed electric field lines. It starts from one positive charge and end up in a negative charge or move to infinity. So there is no closed loops in electrostatics, but in magnetostatics, electric fields produces closed loops. Del cross E is there. It is equal to minus dou p by dou t. Okay, thank you very much.